Hello everyone. Welcome to another video. We're gonna watch Darkside Phil's review of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Screw the mainstream. So let's see what he has to say about this particular game because he hyped this review up for so long, and now we get to see it and see if it's worthwhile.
Darkside Phil here, and welcome to another edition of the Hateful Truth video game review series where I give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest video game releases. And today, ladies and gents, after a month-long journey, we are here to discuss, that's right, one of the biggest releases of the year, probably one of the most hyped and biggest, most dramatically awaited
And just so you know,
games.
this will be kind of a side review for me. Like, I'll kind of give my points with this. So this will be a very interesting video because he's reviewing the game and I'll be kind of reviewing the game alongside him, I guess. So this will be interesting.
Of all
Hope you enjoy
time.
it. Sorry I paused there.
Abrupt. Abound with controversy. That's about the word I was looking for. For various reasons with the game publisher and developer Konami, with the fact that Hideo Kojima, who's known for developing this game and the entire game series for so many years, is now leaving Konami and basically getting the boot, and that they're mistreating the employees and laying them all off after the release of this game, and all that behind-the-scenes stuff.
But some of the people are still working with Konami because here's the thing with Metal Gear Online, that's still being supported by the people who are working on it. So the only people that are that are leaving is Kojima, and maybe some of the people who are leaving with Kojima. That's the other thing. Like usually when loss of like this happens, a lot of the people that are close to that person will leave with them. So there you go. But that's not a major point.
In the release of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which I played on the PlayStation 4. I'm going to preface this review with some harsh truths.
Good,
right?
Phil.
A lot of the gaming industry, in particular those in the mainstream gaming media, are fanboys of certain genres and certain gaming franchises. I hate to say it, but isn't it funny how whenever there's a new Call of Duty or a new Halo or a new, whatever that big budget franchise is, that those mainstream media kiss the shit out of the game's asses and always give them high scores, even if the common gamer kind of plays it and says, the game,
and he's the common gamer that he sometimes says he's not the common gamer.
Kiss the game's ass. I'm going to be honest. Metal Gear Solid 5 is one of these games that you can tell the people who reviewed this game in the mainstream media are either fanboys or incredibly biased or literally just kissing the game's ass to build up hype for hype's sake in the year of 2015. And I hate to say that because I played this game from start to finish with...
It's really childish that to use fanboys as a insult. That's what he sounds like every time he mentions fanboys. I kind of talked about this in the Super Mario Maker review he did. That every time he talks about fanboys, he makes it sound like an insult, and there's nothing wrong with being a fan of a series. I mean, I'm a fan of Metal Gear. I mean so like should I be ashamed to be a fanboy of Metal Gear? I mean, I admit there's flaws in every Metal Gear game I've played. There's not been one perfect Metal Gear game. Prologue sucked. I hate that. That game's garbage. Throw that game out. Metal Gear Solid 4 is the weakest of the main series. Those are just some examples. Peace Walker had there's some stuff I didn't like about Peace Walker, and 5 there's issues, but I'll get to them with this
expectations.
Review.
But not sky-high expectations, because I'm not a fanboy.
I didn't have sky-high expectations either. I didn't think this game would be the second coming.
For the series, and I'm certainly not.
I thought this game was going to be a fun game, and that's what I got.
So much that I need to play every single mission and get an S rank on it. But I've enjoyed the Metal Gear Solid series over the years, even though I'm probably one of the worst players of that franchise. That doesn't mean that I can't appreciate it, that I can't enjoy the story and the elaboration and the gameplay that Kojima and the hard work that he puts into his games, and the fact that I can appreciate it, all right? That I can actually look and say, even though I'm not great at this franchise, I like it, and it's a good franchise. Metal Gear Solid 4, I was very critical of. I said it was more of a movie
I don't remember him playing like.
Quite honestly, it was. There was so many cutscenes.
I don't remember playing MGS4, but I feel like that it's he kind of uploaded something. Even though the gameplay that was there was superb, there wasn't enough of it. Metal Gear Solid 5 seems to go flip mode on that formula, meaning the game is insanely packed with very improved gameplay from the previous Metal Gear Solid games. But
the game seems to be very lacking in a few different dimensions that would lead it to be probably the greatest game in the franchise and one of the greatest games ever made. All right? Startlingly big issues with the game, especially when you get to the second half of it. There is no way, I will say this up front before I even review the game, there is no way that an objective reviewer could play Metal Gear Solid 5 from start to finish and say that this game is a 10 out of 10 perfect game. It's impossible. Because if you're objective, you will notice the flaws with the game. You will objectively observe them and say, well, there's all these flaws, therefore the game can't be a perfect 10. And I hate to say it, I'm tired of it, so I'm calling bullshit with the mainstream gaming media right fucking now, and with anyone else on YouTube or Twitch or whoever the fuck wants to...
Dude, it kind of sounds... Okay, this is the guy that says that all detractors and critics are jealous of his success. That's... So in a way, I mean, I even got a comment on one of my videos that says that I'm jealous of Phil's success, which I'm not. But let's pretend for a second. He's doing exactly what he claims the detractors are doing. He sounds so jealous over the mainstream media, and that's kind of why he always has this, like, that's why he always talks shit about the mainstream, is because he sounds jealous that they get more attention than him. I mean, it could be genuine kind of, like, criticism or tiresome of mainstream media. I'm not gonna say that he it's ridiculous, but he talks so much about it. He talks as much about the mainstream media as his detractors. Just saying.
Say that Metal Gear Solid 5 is a perfect game. How do you ignore the flaws? Is my question. I'm not saying you can't say it's a great game. I'll actually, before I even review it, say I agree with you. I think Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, is an outstanding game. I think it's undoubtedly one of the best games of the year. It's one of the best games of the entire franchise of Metal Gear Solid. And I had a lot of fun playing the game over the course of the month. But I'm not going to lie or kiss this game's fucking ass because I'm not a fanboy.
Wait. I'm sorry to do this. I don't really do this in my videos, but I want to highlight something that he said.
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, is an outstanding game. I think it's undoubtedly one of the best games of the year.
Remember that. He said best games of the year. Remember that. At 4 minutes 20 seconds into this review, he said, and I quote, "It's the best games of the year." Remember that.
It's one of the best games of the entire franchise of Metal Gear Solid. And I had a lot of fun playing the game over the course of the month. But I'm not going to lie or kiss this game's fucking ass because I'm not a fanboy. And I refuse to see through fanboy goggles and ignore all the flaws and say it's a 10, okay?
Like, he's insulting fanboys.
So let's talk turkey, all right?
Like, why?
Metal Gear Solid 5 takes place immediately following the events of Metal Gear Solid 5.
9 years after the events of Ground Zeroes, but that's, I guess, immediate.
Which, if you remember, was the prequel / demo
prologue.
/ whatever you want
it's a
to call
prologue.
it.
Prequel would imply that Ground Zeroes came out after Phantom Pain. It's a prologue,
what
Phil.
version you bought, which it was nowhere near worth
that
much
it's 20 to
money,
30, unless you live in Australia, which was 40 in Australia.
15, 20 hours
poor
of
Australians.
competitive gameplay out of it. And it was just a glorified game demo that they
I wouldn't
charged
recommend
for.
Ground Zeroes, but I like Ground
Leads me to
Zeroes.
ask
I wouldn't
why
recommend it to people.
in
But
2015,
if you got to play for free, I recommend it if you got it for
seems
free.
like it's incomplete. If they had time, all this extra time, right, to work on this Ground Zeroes and release it as a separate gameplay, demo, prequel, whatever you want to call it, and it's almost necessary that you play it because the story of that gets infused into Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, and if you didn't play Ground Zeroes, you won't even understand the intro cutscenes of this game. Why does this game feel incomplete? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. The game starts off with you in the hospital. You were Big Boss. You were on a helicopter that exploded at the end of Ground Zeroes, and you're in a hospital. All of a sudden, an assassin shows up to kill you. You have a mysterious defender who's trying to get you out of the hospital because you can barely move. Your arm's been blown off, so you have this, like, prosthetic arm. And so you're trying to get out of the hospital. All of a sudden, these crazy things start to happen. This psychic guy that mysteriously looks kind of like Psycho Mantis, and I don't mean that as a spoiler. I mean, he's a dead fucking ringer for Psycho Mantis. Shows up with this flaming
I don't know why you
couldn't
just either say Psycho Mantis or just say Psychic
all
guy.
Hell breaks loose.
Saying,
Eventually,
like,
after one of the
look at
most
Psycho Mantis
insane
trying
and
to
over-the-top
explain it.
intro sequences ever, which I expect from Hideo Kojima, you're now taken to your new base of operations called Mother Base, and your job is to recruit people to your cause while you're rescuing critical points. And of course, Kazuhiro Miller is in the game. He was one of the main characters of Ground Zeroes as well as Metal Gear Solid. He was in Metal Gear Solid 3. He was a part of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Wait. Did you just say Miller was in Peace Walker? No. He was in Peace Walker. Oops. Did you just say Miller was in 3? Did he just see that? Because he's not in 3 at all. Miller only appeared in Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear 1 or 2, or both. Sorry, I haven't played the MSX games in a while. And Peace Walker. He wasn't in 3. But whatever.
This game, because it's
I don't know why I'm like, getting hung up on that.
Ocelot shows up, voiced by Troy Baker, and he's got a ton of input in this game as well. And so once you rescue Kazuhiro Miller, that's it. Your job is to recruit and to build up your mother base. And this is where the game finally kind of begins. After almost 2 hours of an interim, you get to delve into the world of Metal Gear Solid 5. What has been improved since the previous Metal Gear Solid games? Number one, oh my god, open world, amazing graphics. Like, if you want to talk about a step
that's what makes the game great.
Every time you played in those games, it felt like you were kind of in a fishbowl. You were in this like really linear path where you had to go and sneak by certain troops and get to point A to point B. And every once in a while, there'd be alternate ways to do it, but it was kind of like very not open. You know what I mean? This game is like you could do a ton of missions from the get-go that are all different missions in this open world setting, or you could just wander around and do stuff on your own. Your goal is a few things. Number one, to complete main missions, which are usually story-based missions, which could be many different things. Maybe extraction of someone who was kidnapped like a prisoner. Maybe it's just simply sneaking in and getting intel. Maybe it's killing a certain person. Maybe it's blowing something up. They could be various different missions. Side quests, which basically are kind of more watered-down versions of the main missions. A lot of the objectives will be kind of similar. And yes, those side missions can get pretty damn repetitive. And I'll be honest, in the early game of Metal Gear Solid 5, you'll be kind of scratching your head saying, well, the story is really...
You started talking about repetition at 8 minutes, 20 seconds.
Taking a long
time
to develop. The first 10 hours of Metal Gear Solid 5, once you get to Mother Base, are kind of boring and tedious. And I almost, that first week that I was playing it, said, I don't get this game. It seems like it's really repetitive content. You're, wow, open world, but you're still sneaking.
So I was going to say, the other thing I like Metal Gear Solid 5. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10 in my opinion, but I thought the beginning was long. I feel like that at the hospital it could be shorter, or it could just be kind of, it could have been different, because I just felt that the entire time I was in the hospital, it was just like, oh, okay. Move. Like I just feel like that could have just been shortened. I don't think it needed to be that long. But after that, it was great. It was, I like the gameplay. I see what he means by repetition, to be honest, but it didn't bother me because I like doing these missions and side ops. Because I just like sneaking around and fucking with these soldiers. So like that's what I like doing. I mean, yeah, there's like 8 missions per category. Like there's 8 prisoner missions, 8 high soldier extraction missions, and all that kind of stuff. But I liked what I played. I liked the missions that I played. I get that why he doesn't like Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is not a very popular chapter amongst people. Chapter 2 is really to understand what it is. It's like the Outer Heaven chapter in Peace Walker. It's just like that.
Like the other games. Yes, there's vastly improved gadgets.
In Peace Walker and Outer Heaven, you had to grind to get the true ending.
And the tackling of people and interrogating, all good stuff. You can even kidnap people, and that's actually like 50%
I still don't like the
of the game
interrogation
as you're
in this
out
game.
In the open world.
I don't get why. Because in Snake Eater, which was a PS2 game, when you interrogate someone, they would actually talk. They'd be like, oh, go over here, whatever. Then they got rid of it for whatever reason. Then in Peace Walker, they brought it back, but, I said that, I was like, well, it's a PSP game. I can understand why, if you interrogate, they're gonna be like, oh, then you had to read subtitles. But in Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, both games that are on like, next-gen consoles and, current-gen consoles and past-gen consoles, PS3, PS4, and all that kind of stuff, running on a new engine, all the detail, and they still can't talk when you interrogate them. Like, that to me is kind of like a nitpick, but it's just like, why? Why can't they talk? Why? Like we're like, oh, like it doesn't make any sense.
You're
Whatever.
kidnapping people with these balloons called Fultons, and you're just stealing everyone. You're kidnapping people who are going to join your cause on Mother Base. You're stealing assets. You're stealing animals.
Stealing
You're stealing
animals.
every fucking possible thing under the sun that's not nailed down to the floor to put at Mother Base to use as assets. The more people you get on your base, the more things you can research and get better equipment. You can actually send combat troops out on side missions a la Assassin's Creed Brotherhood as like your secret army who you send out on side missions that you never really see, but they can bring back resources and valuable things for your base that allow you to upgrade your base, which in turn allow you to upgrade and unlock more weapons and unlock more things. So it's like you're constantly just grabbing assets to build up your base. You use that to research more things so that you can steal more stuff to build up your base. That's kind of the whole point of Metal Gear Solid 5. And then every few hours of you doing this kind of open world repetitive content, you'll get a cool story mission. The story missions are quite good. And quite honestly, if there were a way to just play the story missions of Metal Gear Solid 5, the game would probably be 8 to 10 hours long, but it would be one hell of a fun ride. The problem is that they decided to make it unnecessary grind to do the repetitive side content of the game in order to unlock the story missions. So what you're going to find is you're going to do, all right, well, if you're a fan of the Metal Gear Solid franchise and you absolutely love the sneaking, you're going to be like a kid in a candy store. Open world, I could sneak, I do all this fun stuff to trick people. I'm throwing a rock over here to distract this guy while I sneak up on this guy, and I'm kidnapping this guy, and we're taking these guys out. You can now use the binoculars once they're upgraded to see like the actual skills of an enemy troop before you maybe kidnap them for your base and see, do I want this troop because he's a high rank in intel and I need my intel skills up. And it's really interesting and interactive and fun, and it really is a different take on the Metal Gear franchise. In fact, I'd say it's more like Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker than like any of the other Metal Gear Solid games in the past. It really seems like they took the Peace Walker formula and they upgraded it to be a huge, big budget AAA console game. And I think some people might actually be taken aback by that and be like, wow, it really is kind of a big departure from the previous Metal Gear Solid games, but in a good way. Like, I think this was the way to go. And the environments are all destructible. My God,
Okay, so from what I actually agree with Phil wholeheartedly on this, that's what I like about Battleground Campaign a lot, is that it reminds me of like the old games in the 80s and 90s, where when they did a sequel, they would do something bigger and better, and they would try to expand it, and add so much stuff in it. That's kind of what I felt about when I was playing Campaign and Peace Walker, was that like, yeah, this is a completely different Metal Gear that we're used to, and I love that Kojima took that risk. Because a lot of games lately have just been kind of like, okay, here's some differences, but it's still the same kind of game. Like, from Arkham City to Arkham Origins, there really wasn't a big difference between those two games. You kind of just ignore Arkham Origins and just stick with Arkham City. But, even with Arkham Knight, yeah, they made the combat better and they added the Batmobile, but most of those inclusions in Arkham Knight kind of ruined the game as well. Like, I didn't like how they changed the challenge mode. I don't know why we couldn't have the same challenge mode from the previous games. Those were great challenge modes. I love the rounds and all that. And Arkham Knight's, one round, that's it. So that's what I liked about Phantom Pain, was that it maintained the heart of Metal Gear, but it expanded it and it made it different, but it's still the same game. Like, it's still recognizable as a Metal Gear game, but it's definitely different from like Metal Gear Solid 3 or 2. That it expands on that formula, and I like that. That's what I like about 5, is that it felt so much like a how games used to be made, where they would take like one thing and just kind of expand on it. For example, even the cardboard box. He could have easily just put the cardboard box in and said, "That's it, there you go." But you can now use it as a decoy. You can dive out of it. You can surprise soldiers with it. You can do all kinds of stuff with it now.
Graphics are gorgeous. The game runs at 60 frames per second the entire time. Crazy amounts of detail on all the character models. The game is absolutely gorgeous, okay? Once you get through the first 10 hours, the game picks up big time. The story starts advancing. You'll get caught up in the story. You'll have tons of fun. And even though, yes, every once in a while you'll have to do some really annoying
and I feel that the reason why you do repetition or like all these psyops to get the stories, because they want you to feel that time passes.
Because there was a mission where I had to blow up a tank, and there was another situation.
Like, that's the thing. Like, they want to make you feel that this stuff doesn't happen in a week. They want to give illusion of time, and that's how they wanted to do it. A lot of games have timestamps in each cutscene, so you know where it is in the time frame. But this game also wants to feel organically that time passes. They don't want to. I mean, they do kind of have timestamps in it, but they ultimately want to have it feel that time passes from like one mission to the next, and I like that. I like that they chose that way to give that illusion. I get why people don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we should praise this and we should all have games do similar things like this, but I like what they did, and that's what I saw them trying to do with it. So that's what I
In a
liked.
game where I had to grind to get a more powerful balloon so I could extract a certain thing from a stage. But once you get through the repetitive grind, the story missions are really freaking awesome. And you've got tie-ins to previous Metal Gear games. Like you've got the father of Otakon is in this game.
Otakon.
And you've got surprise appearances.
In Metal Gear Solid 2, he was playing it. I was watching a Let's Endure that, and he said he kept calling Otacon Otakon until the game corrected him to say Otacon. He still calls him Otakon.
Return characters that you never expected would be in this game that kind of show up from time to time. And it really is an awesome experience in that regard. Okay, so I will say the first 20 to 30 hours of Metal Gear Solid 5, about half of it is kind of repetitive and boring side content, and half of it is really, holy shit, AAA amazing story-based fun that you would expect from Hideo Kojima. The one thing that seems to be lacking in this game, and I know this is going to sound silly to a lot of people who are fans of the Metal Gear Solid series, there's not a lot of cutscenes. The cutscenes are actually few and far between, only in those story missions, and it seems like most of the plot, almost as if Kojima was listening directly to...
I get why people like long cutscenes. I like long cutscenes too in Metal Gear. I'm not saying that was an issue, but I don't mind the cutscene length in Phantom Pain. I think I might be one of the minority people here that's all pretty good long-term Metal Gear fan that actually liked the length in all Metal Gear games, and I like the length in this as well because it feels balanced to me. Like I never felt that I needed to sit there for an hour to get story. I mean, I like that sitting for an hour to get story. Don't get me wrong, but I never sat there like, man, we need an hour long cutscenes. We need them in this game. Oh. I wasn't like hyped up for long cutscenes. That was never a point to get hyped in Metal Gear. I was never hyped on the cutscenes.
Fan feedback, but only like he was listening too much. Is that he took out
he kind of talks about the codex later. I did watch the
communication screen, the classic screen where you'd have one person here like Otakon.
I don't like the codex screens. I thought that was
it was a green.
That was the only thing I didn't like in 2. I kind of stomached it. I kind of tolerated it in 2 with the codex, but I just thought that we didn't need the codex. I thought that the way that 3 kind of balanced it a little bit better. 4 did a better job with it. Peace Walker did a better job with it, and Phantom Pain does a better job with it, because he's going to talk about the cassette tapes, because everyone talks about the cassette tapes. Just listen to the cassette tapes when you're on Mother Base, or when you're doing a side op. Don't do it when you're doing main ops, because that is the only issue I have, is that you'll be listening to the cassette tapes, and then the radio will like kind of butt heads, and kind of block one another, and you can't really hear either one, so I would just recommend doing it in side ops. Or just on Mother Base. You don't have to sit in one place to do it. You don't have to sit on the ACC the whole day just listening to these tapes. You don't have to do that.
Screen. It was the classic Metal Gear Solid let's plot exposition time screen.
Exposition time.
Doesn't exist in this game anymore. Instead, you get what are called cassette tapes, audio tapes that you'll play, and you could play them during missions. You could play them while you're just sitting in a helicopter between missions. You could play them at any time. But it's pretty much required if you want to understand the full story of the game to play these tapes. But who wants to sit around just playing tapes?
Well, I don't mind doing that personally. I don't mind sitting around still listening to tapes.
Like I said, Kojima listens.
But that's the thing. That's actually a funny argument now that I think about it. Everyone wanted the codex. Okay, everyone liked these long codecs that you sit down, put the controller down, and do nothing. You're doing the same thing with the cassette tapes. You're sitting down, the controller's down, you're doing nothing but listening to the cassette tapes. So this is a moot issue, actually, the more that I think about it, that all these people complaining, well, it's time to get, who wants to sit in one place and listen to these cassette tapes? You're sitting in one fucking place and listening to the codex and watching these long cutscenes. So you're doing the same thing you would, but it's just a cassette tape. Wow, I mean, I guess you're not being stimulated visually with like pictures, that are like this big on both ends of the screen. I guess you're not being stimulated visually. The only visual stimulation you get is the spinning wheels and the track and all that kind of stuff, but you're still doing the same thing you would be doing in Metal Gear Solid 2, putting the controller down and listening to them.
Too much to fan feedback
Wow.
in Metal Gear
Wow.
Solid 4.
I found a
really
way
the
to
polar
shoot down
opposite.
that
Instead of too many
point.
cutscenes, now there's not enough. Put all the
I mean, I still
story
kind
on
of get it,
boring
but
tapes,
it's
and it
still
almost
ridiculous.
pulls you out of the immersion of the game to have to sit here. Well, I want to listen to the tape, but I have to do this boring, grinding side mission. I guess I'll do the side mission while the tape's playing, but ultimately you're going to get distracted from either the side mission or the tape. So
It
you
never
kind of
happened.
have to just sit around and listen to
I
them.
listened
And
to
it's
the
like,
tapes and I never
why
got
did he do this? It really does ruin the immersion of the game when you have to sit around listening
yeah,
to
I never
audio
got
tapes.
distracted.
And in addition
I
to
never
that,
got distracted.
even though a lot of the characters do
Whatever.
great voice work, most of the voice work is in the tapes. Like I said, the cutscenes are few and far between. And Troy Baker, I don't know who voices Kazuhiro Miller.
Rob
Hell,
Bacon's
even
down.
Kiefer Sutherland, who voices Snake, barely talk. Like they're only talking in like walkie-talkie communication.
Okay, there's a reason. This is gonna be kind of a spoiler, but there's a reason why Kiefer doesn't talk. And once you find out why, you're gonna actually. That's yeah. I liked
Missions
yeah.
at the beginning of missions,
There's a
the end of
reason.
missions,
There's a reason.
and outside of that, you don't really hear them talk or chatter that much at all. It's all in these tapes. So the majority of voice acting, the majority of plot, you have to listen to the tapes, and that's almost rips you out of the immersion of the game. Like, why didn't they just make it integrated into the game better? It almost feels like a cop out. Like they couldn't find a way to integrate it without having 400 hours.
Okay, it's as much of a cop out as having the codex in 2. It's the same thing because you're doing something and you're just putting the controller down and listening to them. Yeah, I mean, I guess those are integrated a little bit better because there's a cutscene leading into them. But yeah, actually, I guess he has a point there as well, just having it be fused in better. But I don't know. It didn't bother me personally. I can understand why people would be bothered by it.
So just put it into audio tapes. And if people want to skip them, they can. But that's a cop out. Find a way to relate the story to the audience without letting them be bored. Don't put it on fucking tapes. You know what I mean? So kind of.
But people were bored with the long cutscenes and the codex in the previous Metal Gear games. So these people who are getting bored by cassette tapes are never happy because they were probably the same people who complain about the codex. And if they're not those people, they're probably people who are just fanboying over long cutscenes, and then they're really disappointed that they didn't get long cutscenes, and they're probably venting it out on cassette tapes.
There you go. I think that was a bad thing about the game.
I don't know. That's I don't really think.
So let me tell you something.
Whatever.
If this game was only consistent of the first half, which they call Chapter 1, all right? If that were the entire game, I would have said this is a good game. Probably, 9 to 9.5 out of 10, even though it has flaws. Obviously, those flaws, it kind of overcomes them with the amazing story.
Silly.
The problem is, Chapter 1 is the first half of the game, and it ends, and it kind of has a resolution. It
Almost,
has like
he's been talking about repetition for 10 minutes.
But it doesn't end. The game keeps going. And
he's going to talk about repetition, I can already tell you. So he made a point about the cassette tapes. Okay, fair point. But he talked about repetition before, and he's going to talk about repetition again.
What ends up happening is in Chapter 2, you realize, holy shit, remember all those media rumors about Konami was shutting down the Kojima team, and basically they were cutting the budget for Metal Gear Solid 5 and telling them to just finish up the game and mistreating them? It's fucking really apparent in Chapter 2 of the game, the second half, because 95% of the things, I'm not exaggerating.
And this is a silly point to bring up, but look at his text here. It's incredibly obvious that Chapter 2 of Metal Gear Solid 5 is why is the I capitalized and not the S? That looks really ridiculous. Either lowercase the I or uppercase the S. And then it makes no sense. And then what is it with him in capitals, dude? Like, whatever.
95% of the things you do in Chapter 2...
I do agree in Chapter 2. I didn't like that they just kind of reused main missions and then just added a difficulty to it. Like, oh yeah, play back, up, down, whatever that mission's called, but on subsistence mode. It's like, why just put that in the side ops? That's what they did in Peace Walker with the custom tanks and all that kind of stuff. They made that side ops. I don't know why they made it main ops. That's ridiculous. But yeah, this is kind of why I understand why chapter 2 is the least liked chapter. I get that, but it's the Outer Heaven chapter from Peace Walker for this game. So yeah, in Peace Walker you had to grind through chapter 5 Outer Heaven to get to the true ending. You had to do that.
Game are rehashes of all the
So
missions
it's the
you
same,
already
but
did in chapter 1.
I get the point.
Now, sometimes it'll be like, well, you went to this mansion and you took this guy out of the basement in chapter 1. In chapter 2, go to the same mansion, which is the same
It's
fucking
blatant
mission, and
padding.
get a kid who's on the second floor who got kidnapped. And that's the mission, and that's the story mission. That's not like a repetitive side quest that you could skip or whatever. That's you have to do this. And it's like, why the fuck do I have to go to the same location? There's some locations you go to 4 or 5 times during the course of the game, just doing slightly different tasks while you're there.
Well, there's only 2 maps in the game, so you're bound to kind of go to the same place.
When you get to chapter 2, you're like, fuck me, like, what happened here with this game? The game was on such a high note at the end of chapter 1, and it's like you get to the plateau, and then boom!
I wouldn't say
for chapter 2.
I wouldn't say chapter 2 is a shitter. Like, I get why people don't like chapter 2. I'm not saying that you have to like chapter 2 or that people are insane for not liking chapter 2. I'm not saying that. But I wouldn't say it's a complete downhill from in chapter 2. I would say it's not as good as chapter 1. I'll agree to that. But I thought chapter 2 was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Just you're doing side ops mostly. But
and it's deflating when you've got a game that's on this level.
This is my opinion. So like, I just don't agree with it going over.
Kojima had a slow build because he wanted it to build up. Here it is, we're on this level, let's keep it on this level. And Konami says, nope, no more money, we're firing all of you. And that's what happened. I honestly will not blame Hideo Kojima one fucking bit for the shitty-ass second half of Metal Gear Solid 5. I blame Konami. Because you fucked, and let's say, maybe Kojima mismanaged. Maybe Kojima mismanaged all his money and time and resources. But we know, public fact is that Konami is a fucked company right now. And I guarantee you, Kojima had much more in store. In fact, he says as much. He said in the collector's edition of the game, he says Chapter 2 was not supposed to be...
Okay, you know what? This is going to be a little tangent here, because I hear this all the time, but I'm going to first talk about this point that Phil brought up, because I can easily refute this. So he says, in the collector's edition of Metal Gear Solid 5, Kojima admits to having tons of content cut from the game, and even an entire new chapter, WTF. Incorrect, sir. I call bullshit. I call shenanigans. Because I own the collector's edition. I got it. I have it. Nowhere on the box, nowhere on the Blu-ray disc that comes with it, does Kojima ever say that. He never says that. He never admitted to having cut content. He never said that. That's not to say that there's no cut content. There is cut content, because there are reports of that. The only thing that came on the Blu-ray was that there was a mission that was cut from the game. But the mission wasn't fully complete. It was only 30% into development. So what that could mean is that when they tried to incorporate that part of it into the game, and then just kind of build on that, it was starting to cause problems with the other part of the game. And they could... Because here's the thing, we don't know why it got cut. That's the bottom line I'm just saying right now. We don't know why. Sure, it could be because of budget, it could be because of Konami, it could be because of many other things, but it could also be because maybe Kojima, was working on it and looked at it and was like, you know what, I don't even think this is worth finishing because of this. He might have just said, this looks like shit, I don't really feel like doing this, or anything. It was like that, or it's like, this would cause us to delay the game, and I really don't want to delay the game. I would much rather just release it. So let's just, cut it and just kind of focus on what we have, because this mission isn't panning out the way I want it to. It could have been that. It could have been many reasons why this stuff could have been cut. People don't know why it got cut. So this is to you who's saying, well, it got cut because of this. You don't know what you're talking about, because you don't know why. I'm not saying that you're wrong or that, or anything. I'm just saying that you shouldn't talk as if you know why it was cut. That's what I'm getting tired of. I'm getting tired of seeing people say, like, it got cut because of this. Oh, it's incomplete. It's not incomplete because you got the game that was promised. Kojima never promised 60 missions. Or he never promised, I'll give you 3 chapters, I promise you that. He never promised that. He promised a game that you could play and have different ways of infiltrating a mission, and that's what we got. You can go into any mission and do your own thing. So he delivered his promises. He never promised these chapters that aren't in the game or anything. And this is another issue. This isn't even worth bringing them into a review, because you're reviewing a game and marking things off that aren't there. you're pretty much knocking Metal Gear Solid 5 down for stuff that's not there. That's not a good review. Review what's there and say that's that. You don't have to bring up other stuff. This is just, cool information, but it doesn't really mean anything because we don't know if this part was worth bringing up. It could have either been a good part of the game or it could have been a shitty part of the game. We don't know. So really, he's bringing up stuff that's not in the game. That's like me reviewing Dark Souls 3, and that game's not even out yet. It's like, well, I'm just going off what's in the trailers. So this game is a 6 out of 10 because the trailers look incomplete. You're gonna tell me, that's not a good review. Of course it's not a good review, but neither is this reviewing stuff based off of nothing.
Like this, there was this big
and
epic
putting
climactic
words in
final
Kojima's
mission
mouth that he
where,
never said.
you have this boss fight
From
and
the
this big
guy
thing, and then there was a whole chapter 3.
From the guy who says that all his detractors put words in his mouth, he's putting words in Kojima's mouth now.
That was supposed to be a resolution of the game. And I would almost go as far to say that probably the side content of the game maybe was added in and rushed in as a way to say, well, pad the game, right? Because if you just had, like I said, maybe the 10
or maybe
hours
the
of story
side content was there,
1,
and then the
chapter
missions
2 was
that
a couple story missions
got cut were later in development,
really
and they were like, this looks like shit, let's cut
That's
it.
what you took all this time to develop. So I almost think they rushed in all this repetitive side content to say, look, 100 hours of gameplay. Oh yeah, 80 hours is padding and repetitive shit, while 10 or 15 hours is really good story. So
again, if Kojima never brought up the missing mission or any of this stuff, if no one talked about the cut content, no one would be talking about it. It's like Metal Gear Solid 4. Everyone reviewed Metal Gear Solid 4 as is. Until later, there was an article, it's an old article, it was published in 2009 or so. It was old, but it was Kojima talking about, I might be wrong, but I think he said this, that when they were developing Metal Gear Solid 4, they overestimated the PlayStation 3's capabilities. So there was originally a lot of stuff to do with the geckos and different ways, all this kind of stuff, but they couldn't do because of the hardware limitations. So they had to cut that part out and kind of structure it the way that it is now. But no one talked about that because it wasn't content was missing, but there was stuff in the game that they had to cut out entirely. But no one said to in MGS4, well, there's cut content, let's mark it down. But I know there was an article about it. I'll try to find it, but don't hold your breath. Someone in the comment section, please find. I hope you know what I'm talking about, because I definitely remember reading an article where Kojima was saying that he overestimated the PlayStation 3 when developing Metal Gear Solid 4. But that's beside the point now.
Is it 100 hours of actual worthwhile gameplay?
But again, that's like me reviewing MGS4 off that review.
And it's just bad that you would take a game that was such a high and put it right into the shitter. So ultimately, Chapter 2 of Metal Gear Solid 5 ends with this really cool ending. I'm not going to spoil it. It actually wraps up a lot.
I'm not going to spoil it, but look at the footage. This. I'm sorry if you're watching this and you haven't made it this far, but I don't know.
Questions of the Metal Gear Solid series leading into future Metal Gear games. Well, I liked the ending of the game. A lot of people had issues with the ending of the game. I actually think it was good and cleverly done. It's a what-if ending that makes you think back
to things that had happened. A what-if ending? What's a what-if ending? That ending was definite. That wasn't what-if. It was, what if this? It was, it is. That's what it is. It is ending. A what-if ending would be, him waking up from a dream. If this was all a dream, that would be a what-if ending. Because, what if this was a dream? Or it ends in a way that, in Inception. At the ending of Inception, that was a what-if ending. Because the, totem that Leonardo DiCaprio had was wobbling and spinning at the same time, so it was is he dreaming or is this reality? That's a what-if ending. It gave you two things to think about. The ending in this game was very definite. It was this is what happened.
Happened in other games and even in this game, and say, wow, I see the connections now, this is pretty cool, and I like that. If you're paying attention and you do listen to the critical story-based tapes, you'll get all these cool connections. You'll get, wow, this character was actually this character who from a previous game that I didn't realize, and this character makes a surprise return in this game. But you have to kind of go out of your way and do side content and do all this grinding repetitive.
Again, talking about grinding, he talks
and that's
so much about grinding.
The problem that I have with Metal Gear Solid 5 is, for the 10 to 15
other
hours
points,
of greatness,
he hypes.
He
focuses on repetition.
Repetitive, boring.
We get it, Phil.
Doing this.
That's the thing. We could save so much time on this review if you just didn't talk about repetition all this time. You could have just brought it up, I moved on to the next point, moved on to the next point, and the review. And instead, he's just harping on the repetition. And again, I'm not saying that there is no repetition. I could see why he says there's repetition, but he's harping too much on it. That's like me this reviewing Batman Arkham Knight and this focusing on the Batmobile. It's like the Batmobile is in the game. I hate the Batmobile. Okay, and then there's these challenge modes that and like, but then the Batmobile. It's like he keeps talking about the repetition.
Just for the sake that I could finally unlock this new weapon or this new item that will allow me to actually pass through the main missions a lot more easily. And even though a lot of people, but Phil, the side content's not repetitive because you could do it different ways. You could do run and gun in one stage, and you could do sneaking in
another. He never even tried the FOBs. I tried the FOBs. It was actually a lot of fun. I thought I was going to hate the FOBs, and I actually liked them. I hope that the base you have in FOB is now tied to your single player base. That's what I remember hearing, but I don't know if that's true or not. But and it being introduced far too late, I don't think that's bad. I think I like that it's introduced late in the game because around the time that's introduced is kind of where you'll start the grinding session of Metal Gear. So I think that's why they put it that late in the game, because if they introduce it early in the game, you're just gonna get burned on it, and then you're gonna just focus on the grinding, and then you're not gonna have fun with the game. I think it's nice that it's introduced late in the game, and it kind of gives you an idea on how the gameplay works, and you can hone up your base, so you can kind of refine your skills and all that. So I like that it was late in the thing, but look, he says it isn't necessary for game progression. I skipped it entirely. So why is he even bringing up FOBs if he skipped it entirely? It's pointless. It's not pointless. It's optional because why would you want to be forced to deal with FOBs when you just want to do the story? What? If I bought Metal Gear Solid 5 and just wanted to do the story mode, why should I be forced to do FOBs? It should be optional because not a lot of people care about the FOBs. I mean, I think it's worth checking out, but if you don't want to check it out, you don't want to check it out.
That's true, but the game only wants you to sneak. The game grades you on two things: not being detected, / not killing. That's always what you've been graded on in Metal Gear Solid, and the speed at which you complete the stage. So ultimately, what the game wants you to do, go into a stage, play it once. Okay, that was my first chance. Beginner's trap. I'll fall for all the booby traps. I don't know what to do, but I'll get the layout of the map. Then I'll replay the stage, and now I know where the shortcuts are.
See? Okay. He said earlier that he made it sound as if when you get graded in Metal Gear, that rank stays with you. Like, he's like, yeah, you can run a gun, but it grades you on stealth. They want you to be stealthy. But, you just said that you can go back and replay missions to get a better rank. So I could do anything I want in the main ops, and then go back and do differently. So, yeah, Phil, your argument is retarded here. It's moot. Because if you can replay missions, but that's how it works. It's the same way in Peace Walker. If you play a mission, even Ground Zeroes does this. If you play a mission once, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go guns blazing, boom, 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 kill everyone, and then you're like, oh, I got a B rank on that. Well, I'll go back in and do it stealthy, not kill anyone. You'll get an S rank. It's not like it was like, well, you got a B rank before, so we gotta calculate that into your new rank. That's not how it works. And side ops, they don't give you a rank either. So
I know the quick way to sneak around everyone, and I'll beat it within 5 minutes to get an S rank. And ultimately, I ended up getting a lot of S ranks in this game. That's another thing about Metal Gear Solid 5. Probably the easiest game in the entire series. I got...
Dude, when he got S ranks, he was like bragging about it. He was like, oh yeah, I'd like to see my detractors say that I'm shitty now. I got S ranks. Like, he bragged about it, and now he's like, well, it's easy. So you're admitting that you are a scrub at Metal Gear because they give S ranks out like candy. I do agree with that, actually. They do give S ranks fairly easily. There was a mission I did, I don't remember the mission exactly, but I know I was playing, I was like, this is going to be either a B, maybe an A rank, maybe a C, maybe a D. Got S rank, and I was like, wow, I got an S rank on that. Like, it's... So, he bragged about getting an S rank on these missions, and now he's saying, well, now it's easy. Okay, Phil.
Multiple A and S ranks, and not to say that I wasn't trying. I was trying fucking really hard, and some of the missions that I ended up getting great ranks on
just said it was easy.
And people said they were hard. They failed on multiple times, and they're hardcore fans of the series. Of course, there were easier missions, supposedly, that I sucked on, but people said that they rushed through and got through quickly.
Of course.
I don't know, that's the case with me. I always seem to be like Mr. Opposite. If something's easy, it's hard. If it's hard, it's easy for me, right? But
Of course. Of course.
to me, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's not. It is repetitive and boring because the game wants you to beat it in this sneaky but quick manner. You could just run and gun through the whole game and get terrible fucking rankings, and that's not the point of the game. You know what?
And then you can go back and change the rankings. You just said that in your review. You just said you can go back and get a better ranking. What is it, Phil? Can you go back and get a better ranking or not?
I mean, you know, it's like,
what a great review! I agree with it 100%. Come on, guys, really?
Smash fucking paint pellets on the.
I can already tell you why people agree with this. I can tell you why because they all agreed with this cut content tangent, which is bullshit. That shouldn't be in the review because it's nothing.
Wall.
Sorry to harp back on that, but I know that's why people agreed with this review. I know why. I know that's why.
Upgraded and to get all these great.
Cut on the repetition. I know that's.
And yeah, I understand that there's more flexibility in this game than ever before. In fact, the reflex system makes the game so easy compared to the past Metal Gear.
No. I'm gonna call nonsense again with these reflex modes. So many people shame people for using reflex mode, say it's a noob mode. It's not. What's noob mode is chicken hat and the chick hat. I didn't even know there was a chick hat. There is a chick hat actually in this game, but reflex mode isn't noob mode. Because to me, it does kind of depend on how you use it, but you can turn it off. So it's really a non-issue in this game. I always thought reflex mode was a non-issue because you could turn it off. But with reflex mode, it's a mode that I use for last resort, where it's like I'm gonna try to not use it, but if I use it, that's last resort. And if you mess up, if you like keep not aiming right, and then you get into reflex mode, you're gonna have to reload your gun, which takes time. And then, yeah, you can extend the reflex mode, but you only extend it one time. And then, like, even if you reload and then aim and then re-aim and all that kind of stuff, it could destroy you. And especially if they're wearing a helmet, they have, like, little head visibility, you're not gonna get out of there unless you get your assault rifle out. And that takes another time out of the reflex mode. So, saying reflex mode makes the game easy is stupid, because you're really just... No, it doesn't make it insanely hard, but it's not easy, and it's not hard to get detected. I got detected so many times with reflex mode enabled because I either messed up a shot, I had to reload a gun completely, or they were wearing a helmet, or my aim was off. It might be hard to get detected for like insanely good people, but they will probably play the game with it turned off. So I'm just saying, don't shame people for using reflex mode. I don't think the reflex mode is cheap, noob, or anything. It's not. It's just not. Don't say it is. You sound You sound really ridiculous.
Alert! You already lost the ranking because you got an alert in the stage. In this game, reflex. The game slows down in the bullet time. You can now react. And usually get a headshot on the guy and he's not alerted anymore. It's only a case if there's like multiple guys around.
But you also get a better ranking. Like you can get a ranking with reflex mode. You can get an S rank with reflex mode, but if you have it turned off, but if you don't use it at all, you'll get more points to you. You'll get more rewards for doing it that way, not just it's not what he's saying. It is.
You're going to be fucked.
Oh, I'm saying.
Alert. Okay. So the gameplay of Metal Gear
Solid 5. You can get better ranked without it.
Way better, in my opinion, than previous Metal Gear Solid franchise entries. All right.
Okay.
Way up here. Okay. Way improved. But the story of Metal Gear Solid 5, I'll be honest, it's good when it's there, but there's not enough of it. And it's not as good, in my opinion, as a couple previous.
I don't know. I like the story of 5.
2, 3, and 4. I think.
Okay, the only thing I didn't like about 5's story. This is the one thing that did bother me. Not the untied ending with a certain character, but I liked the ending. I thought the ending was really good. It was a really good ending. I liked the story. The only thing I didn't like was Skullface's endgame. Once you hear what he's trying to accomplish. Someone said, I think Dragon Killer, I'll give credit. Dragon Killer said, Skullface sounds like a terrible Bond villain, and that's true because first he's like, oh, he's gonna try to control nukes. If he's sell nukes to someone, and if they want to launch it, Scorpius will have the ultimate say so, and that's cool. I like that part. That was like really really cool uh, plot line there because you're not having an AI determine, you're having another person kind of take that power away, and it will render all their nukes worthless in a way. I mean, it's interesting in that regard. Um, but with but when you find out about his plan to wipe out language, that is just kind of why. You know, like this is just kind of goofy. Like just focus on the nuke idea, develop that more, ignore the goddamn parasites. All we got from the parasites was the interesting mission and voices and a cool and a very heartfelt mission near the end of the game. But to have, but to say that you wanted to wipe out language, what? What? So there you go. I thought that part was ridiculous in the story. Everything else I liked. I liked the rest of the story.
Stories than 5, and quite
I mean,
honestly,
I still like 3. I think 3 had the best story.
The fact that
but
the second half of the game is a
5
huge grinding
wasn't
letdown.
awful.
It's just redoing the same
was
fucking missions over and over with
Same
the
with
exception
4.
of maybe
4 was
one or
awful in a
two.
way, but it wasn't bad.
Really sucks. But there's all these great additions too. The buddy system where you can now have assistants come out, whether it's a mech walker or a dog that can see enemies on the map, or a sniper who can spot enemies and execute them if you tell her to. Those are cool additions. So it's kind of like a dichotomy. It's like a two-headed beast. One side of the game is amazingly improved and great, and the other side is boring and repetitive and like, what happened here? And it really feels like Metal Gear Solid 5 is 2 games. It really does.
But really, like, there's no game that has issues. Like, I can, pick any game randomly out of my collection and find out a flaw in it. So this game is no different. This game has flaws. I wasn't expecting a perfect game. I don't expect perfect games when I buy a game. I expect to have fun. And that's kind of why I gave it a 9 out of 10, because I had a lot of fun with this game. I didn't give it because I love Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear. I can't give it a 5. I can't give it a 5. And I gave it a 9 because I genuinely believe that that's the review I would give that game, because I had a lot of fun with it. If I didn't have fun with it, I wouldn't have given it a 9. An example of that would be The Order. I was completely bored with that game. I was getting cabin fever in that game. I would probably give that game. I reviewed it on my other channel. You watch it. I don't remember the score I gave it, but I gave it a score that I would probably stand by it to this day. That American Night, I'd probably give it a 7, to be honest, because that game was fun, but it was just kind of, there were so many things just weighing it down. But this game, there was nothing weighing it down. I wasn't playing the game, I was like, if only this wasn't here. If only this wasn't here. Like, I liked everything about this game.
Kojima's game and Konami's rushed piece of shit. And that's what you get flailing about when you buy Metal Gear Solid 5. It's a mixed bag. And that's why I'm telling you, no one on the planet Earth could actually play through this game unless they're a huge fucking fanboy and refuse to acknowledge that the game has flaws. No one could objectively say...
Okay, see, you watched my interpretation. I didn't like the beginning of the game. I thought that was too long. I thought that could have been cut in a little bit more. But you see, I'm a fan of Metal Gear. I said flaws about this game. There was stuff I didn't like about Metal Gear Solid 5. But I would still give it a 9 out of 10 because I liked the game. It was ultimately fun. I mean, those flaws are in the game, yeah, but it didn't weigh down my overall enjoyment of the game. That's what matters. If the flaws started weighing the enjoyment down, then I would probably review it as such. Like in Batman, I reviewed it because all the flaws I had in that game weighed the enjoyment down. The Batmobile killed it for me. The challenge mode is a joke. Sorry, this is a little mini Batman review, but that's kind of what I'm getting at. In Metal Gear Solid 5, yeah, there's definitely flaws with that game. I'm not saying that it's perfect, and I see for once I see a review from him, and I kind of see some of the points he made. Some of them are kind of ridiculous, like the ranking and stuff they said earlier that he needs to make up his mind with. But I had overall fun with Metal Gear Solid 5. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10, because the flaws in it I acknowledged, but it didn't factor into my enjoyment. I didn't play the game thinking about the content that wasn't in the game. That's the one thing I disagreed about this review, is that you talked about stuff that wasn't there.
That Metal Gear Solid 5 is a 10 out of 10. If you ask fucking Hideo Kojima to rate his game, he probably would not say 10 out of 10 because he didn't get to do all the things he wanted.
Why would you ask a creator to rate his own games? We all know Kojima's a perfectionist, and he even said, on his Twitter that once he makes the game and releases it, he never plays it again. He plays it during development, and then that's it. Because if he plays it, he'll always find something that he could do better. That's what he said. So he could probably play Metal Gear Solid 5 again and say, "Well, I could have done this differently." That's why he doesn't play his games anymore, because he doesn't want to look back at something that he already made. That's kind of how I am with my comics that I make for Tumblr. Is that I don't write them and then put them online, then go back and read them. I mean, I might go back to see character names if I might forget, but or character designs I might forget how they look, but I don't go back and read them because I don't like reading my content all the time. I get really you're your harshest critic. You'll always never be pleased with what you do, and that's how it is. It's always been. Um, so yeah, of course Kojima's not gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because he would never rate his own games because he would never give his own games a 10 out of 10. He would never do that. No one would do that. If you do, you're a pretty pretentious person.
To do. There's no big final boss showdown in this game. That's one of my main gripes. Where are the boss fights? There's like one or two boss fights if you even want.
It's not as bad as Arkham Knight, or Arkham Knight barely any, because here you can kind of argue that Quiet, the Skull Unit, and the Metal Gear fight are boss fights. I do think the Skull Units are good, but yeah, they're not as rich and deep as the others. Like, the others kind of had a theme. This, not so much, so I kind of agree. I mean, Peace Walker, that one always is a debate, because you have, like, very specialized tanks, like the Pupa, Cocoon, Chrysalis, Peace Walker, and all those even had themes. Like, they all had a butterfly theme, like a pupa and then a cocoon. You get it. So yeah, even that had kind of a theme going with each major boss. But yeah, it pales in comparison with the other Metal Gear games for sure. So I do agree with that. The boss fights in 5 aren't the best, but they're more boss fights. But Metal Gear Solid 5 has more boss fights than Batman Arkham Knight. I can tell you that right now. Full-fledged and more boss fights than The Order and any other games I played this year.
Call them that in the game. None of the big showdowns for Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, 4, none of that exists in Metal Gear Solid 5. It's more like just repetitive content after repetitive content after repetitive content. Ooh, a fun cutscene. And that's the problem, is that it's unfinished. It's an unfinished masterpiece. You can't give an unfinished game a 10. You cannot. Unless you are a liar, or you're dishonest, or you're a fanboy who's so
Okay, this is the other thing. A lot of people say that, the game's unfinished. The game is finished. You're playing it right now. That's what a finished game is. So, yeah, I disagree. I think it is a complete game because he promised you this. He didn't promise you Chapter 3. He didn't promise you Mission 51. He never promised any of that. If he promised it, then yes, it would be incomplete because it wasn't in the game, but he never promised it. And if you say, well, all the stuff that's in the trailers aren't in the game, that's in every Metal Gear game. You might then you might as well say Metal Gear Solid 4 is incomplete, and you might as well say Peace Walker is incomplete. There's a lot of stuff in Peace Walker, especially Peace Walker, that's not in the final game. So you're telling me that game's incomplete? Hell, there's even plot lines in Peace Walker that were cut. I had the art book from Japan. There were storyboards of plots that weren't used in the game. So you're telling me that. So you might as well say that. So I might as well say Peace Walker's incomplete because there were storyboards that they boarded out. They took the time to board out and they didn't use. So there you go. There's even bosses in the Peace Walker art book that are not even in the game. So yeah, it being unfinished is not
and anyone
true.
who gave Metal Gear Solid 5 a 10 out of 10, sorry.
Dude,
this is a chick, actually.
What the GS Professional, he says sorry, cuts, and then puts in, this is a chick! After he said it's Psycho Mantis, so yeah, Psycho Mantis is a dude. MGS fan, guys.
I think this is a girl. Sorry, my camera turned off, but continuing my point, I don't think that the common gamer should trust anyone who gives Metal Gear Solid 5 a rating of 10 out of 10. It's preposterous that an unfinished game that the game developer himself said, yeah, it should have been better, is given a 10 out of 10. Bullshit. Especially in this...
The creator never said that. As I said before, he's putting words in his mouth. A guy who hates that detractors put words in his mouth, he's putting words in Kojima's mouth. So good job, Phil.
You could even argue, well, The game has so much content, 100 hours of content. Yeah, but 65 to 70
Again,
hours of that
harping
is
on
kind of repetitive and boring and not even necessary to the plot. So I don't give a fuck. I don't care if the game has 700 hours of content.
This review could have been 10 minutes. Easily. This review could have been 10 minutes. And again, he's talking about repetition again. Okay.
And if the majority of the content is not very fun,
he talked about this for
unless you're a hardcore fanboy of the series.
This has been the majority of his review. I'm trying to keep pausing, but this is the majority of his review. Talking about other reviewers, because that's what you do in a review, right, guys? Talking about stuff that's not in the game. Talking about repetition, and that's it. I mean, everything else that was actually worthwhile bringing up, he talked about like very quickly, and then the stuff that you didn't need to talk about very quickly, he talked for very long. So he didn't have to bring up the cut content. He could have saved that for the closing statements, and he kind of said that and not factor that into his review because you're reviewing something that's not there at that point. He's talking about repetition. I mean, this review is repetitive. So he's doing something that he's criticizing Metal Gear Solid 5 for doing.
Then guess what?
I'm being repetitive.
It doesn't matter. That's the point I'm trying to make here. All right. We've had many games this year that have been 20 to 30 hours long where they hooked us and the content stayed on the level. I can tell you right now, Bloodborne, Witcher 3, those were games that were long and drawn out, but the content stayed on a great level the whole time you played the game. It never dumped into the dumpster because of repetitive shit because the game publisher, Konami, wanted to be a fucking cheapskate son of a bitch and pull the rug out from the game developers' legs. You know what I mean? I don't accept that.
Again, he doesn't know what happened.
I see real.
I don't know what happened. He doesn't know what happened. No one knows what happened.
Repetitive crap when I review Metal Gear Solid 5, and ultimately I have to come to like a consensus here, and I have to think ultimately big picture with the amount of content, with the other games that have come out so far this year, with the fact that I do like the Metal Gear Solid series, and this is the best gameplay of the series, but there's almost no boss fights, and it has no story elaboration.
Okay, dude, give us the score.
The entire Metal Gear Solid franchise. I have to balance all of this into my review, and I want everyone to understand here something. I'm going to give a number review. Okay. No matter what number review I'm about to give this game, understand that I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Oh, by the way, I like how in Mario Maker he had 2 reviews. One for the fans, one for normal people. But for this game, he can't do that. He can't do one for Metal Gear fans. And this is kind of what I was talking about, and I think I talked about this in the last review. You need consistency. This is inconsistent. You're having 2 reviews and 1 review. The next review you have 1 review. That doesn't really work. That doesn't fit with what you're. That's inconsistent. That's like me saying like, well, today I'm gonna. I don't know. It's just you get the idea because it's inconsistent to do this in reviews. It's like if I reviewed a game and said that. Okay, I'm going to look at this game, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, but, I'm going to give, never mind, I'm like getting really confused right now, I'm confusing myself, but, this is inconsistent, he's doing 2 reviews in a review, then, yeah, you get the point.
And I enjoyed, even though it was over 3 weeks, and a lot of the viewership fell off because the game was so long and drawn out, I enjoyed playing Metal Gear Solid 5 every fucking day. I did. It's a game that if you are a fan of the series, you are going to love. And I would say most fans are going to say this game is a great game. I'd be hard pressed for anyone to play this game and say, oh, it's no good. I don't think that. I don't think that people would say the game is no good. I just think that people will have these negative criticisms of the game. All right, that maybe make. I know
there's a lot of people I've seen say this game is no good, and
of the game, and that's a shame because this is the magnum opus, right? This is the last entry. This is the one that is supposed to definitively define the whole franchise, and when the majority of the game is only in 2 locations, yes, that's right, the game only has 2 locations, Afghanistan and Africa, that's it. No city-based locations.
Okay, but see, look, he says that for an open-world game that has 2 locations, he played Grand Theft Auto 5, liked that game, and Grand Theft Auto 5 has only 1 location. 1 location in that game. This game gives you 2 locations. That's more than what's in Grand Theft Auto 5 already, and the maps are bigger than Grand Theft Auto 5 in my opinion. So yeah, and I kind of saw a little bit of him playing Metal Gear Solid 5 a few days ago, the last part, and he said that, man, wouldn't it be great if we had the maps that are inside buildings and all this kind of stuff? And I was just like, those are really generic. I mean, we've done that before. We've done that in like 5 Metal Gear games already. And I like that this game's outside because it's different. We haven't had a lot of. I mean, Peace Walker and 3 are the only ones that came close to being outside. Even 4 was outside for most of the time. But 5 was like really outside, and I like that about 5. I wouldn't. I mean, I get it, but it's like, it's in Call of Duty to be inside a hospital, to be inside these buildings. It's just it's been done before, so I'm glad that Metal Gear 5 had a different location set for most of these
No
missions.
urban areas. It's all just a desert and a jungle. And it's a big area, but it's repetitive as shit. You end up doing the same missions over and over, and what the fuck, man? Like, this is the final Metal Gear Solid game for Kojima, and this is what you're given. It is a letdown, and
Not
that
really.
has to factor into my score. But understand, this is a good game. I am not by far panning the game, punishing the game, and I'm certainly not criticizing Mr. Kojima. I think for what the effort he put into this game should be applauded. It should be praised. It's a shame that the Fallout bullshit happened between Kojima and Konami behind the scenes and made it basically an unfinished game. If this game had actually been completed, all right, and had the stuff that Kojima was hinting at, less repetitive side content,
Kojima wasn't hinting at
more
anything.
epic boss fights, more of an elaborated story, a third act that really
Just
fleshes
saying.
out the ending. This could have been one of the greatest games, if not the greatest game of the modern era. But all that was fucking washed away by Konami's bullshit. And that's the big, utter shame about Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. I really like the game. It's a must-play if you're a fan of the franchise, obviously. I still say it's a must-play even if you're not a fan of the franchise, just to see what all the hubbub is about. And there is a ton of content. If you get into the sneaking gameplay, you're going to get your bang for your buck for your game. If you can put up with the fact and stomach the fact that a lot of the missions are in the same areas. Some of the best graphics I've ever seen, you know what I mean? For the story points that are great, amazing game, but too repetitive, only 2 locations,
Give us
no
the
big boss fights,
score.
completely
Oh my
drops off in the
God.
second half of the game with repetitive
We
nonsense.
get it. He's
Like, I could give you a laundry list of negatives. How could I say the game's
a
perfect?
laundry
It's
list of
not.
negatives, but
But
you
it's
focus on
still
like
great.
one thing.
And with all the negatives that I observed out of this game, I'm still going to tell you, the game's a must-play for most gamers. This is one of those games, the quintessential
Oh my
game.
God.
If you don't play it, you're going to miss a critical point of reference, because a lot of
Get
other
to
games
the
in the future, I can
review.
tell you,
Get to the
will be
score.
compared to Metal Gear Solid 5, and you need to have that point of reference to even understand it. It's a cultural game of significance that you must play. I am going to rate Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, all
There you
things
go.
considered,
There we go. Here we
an
go.
8.75 out of 10. And here we go.
I'm surprised, actually. I'm not surprised in a bad way. I'm actually surprised that he gave it 8 out of 10 because I was expecting. I don't care decimals. I don't acknowledge them, but I was expecting him to give it a 6 or a 7 because when he played it, the parts that I caught him playing it, he sounded like he was having a terrible time, and he sounded so salty over the game. So I was convinced it would have been a lower score. So I'm surprised he gave it an 8 out of 10.
Rabble. I'm sure there'll be people that said I scored it too high and I scored it too low. Some people will say I'm way too lenient. I
think you're
enjoyed the
fine.
game that much.
I think that's
that
a
I
good
think
score.
that it's almost great.
I don't
It's
know
like
why people
right
get so
there on the
bitter over
precipice
8 out
of
of
being,
10. That's a
wow.
good score.
And undoubtedly, no matter what I play this year, this game will end up being in my top 10 games of the year. I'd be an asshole to say that it's not good enough to be in the top 10. I just don't think that an unfinished game, when it's almost great, should be said, oh, game of the year, best game, 10 out of 10. I can't do it. I can't do it with a clear conscience. I can't say the Metal Gear Solid 5 is a 9 or higher. I can't do it because of all the shortcomings, because of the fact that it's missing a second half, really. I can't. It's 8.75 out of 10 on my scale, and you can disagree, that's fine, but in my opinion, now that I've played all the Metal Gear Solid 5 games, even though I've sucked at most of them, my favorite Metal Gear Solid of all time is Metal Gear Solid 3. It's the perfect combination of fun, sneaking gameplay with some epic and unique boss fights, really cool, elaborate story and drama and all kinds of stuff. It's the perfect combination. Unlike this game, it's not. This game is not well balanced. The story is not really, honestly, even that very good compared to the other games, and that's the problem. So, 8 points. I think the best one is 3. I don't know if anyone will disagree with me or agree with me in the comments of the video. Let me know. But that is my verdict for Metal Gear Solid 5, and that's where I'm leaving it. Thanks,
Wait a
everyone.
second.
I know there's going to be so much controversy and hubbub around this video. Thank you for watching, and thanks for those of you who checked out the playthrough. That was quite the endeavor, and I don't even think, besides maybe Fallout 4, will I...
Somewhere in this video he said that it's not his game of the year, but he said earlier in this video that it wasn't, that it was the best game of the year, so... What does he know what game of the year is? I mean, he's like, well, this game is the best game of the year, but it's not game of the year. So, okay, Phil.
Honestly, play another game that long, anytime in the near future, probably not. But I think it was well worth it to experience Kojima's last MGS game. And I hope that you enjoyed the ride. I hope that you enjoyed this review. I hope you realize that this is me trying to give you the most truth and cutting out all of the fanboyish bullshit that the mainstream media kiss this game. 10 out of 10. Oh, by the way, let's not mention any of the fucking negatives. Or they'll mention the negatives of the review, but still give it a perfect 10. Fucking dishonest assholes. They disgust me. How can you get paid? Your job is to review games. Your review is fucking blatantly, objectively wrong when you read it and you give it a 10. You're a fucking piece of shit, dishonest fanboy. You skew the scores. You make people run out and buy the game and line Konami's pockets with money. Fuck these people. Don't trust them. Trust people who do this because they love it. Not because of this, not because they're a fanboy, but because they want to be honest. I know I'll take shit for this review, but I tell it to you like it fucking is from my perspective. Thanks, everyone, for watching this episode of the Hateful Truth Game Review Series. I'll see you next time. Peace the fuck out. Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed the review, everyone. If you did, consider watching my entire playthrough of Raw gameplay over on my YouTube gaming channel, DSP Gaming. And also consider giving this video a like, as well as checking out my Patreon account at patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Where for as little as $1 a month, you
get real cool perks. Okay, well that's it for this video. See you next time, guys. Hopefully the next video will be a better video.